Welcome again, Gemini. It's August 2014. Dadhichi here with your brief monthly synopsis for this coming 4 weeks. As I've said to some of the other star signs, the really significant transit right now is this movement of Jupiter into the sign of Leo, which is your third house. Third house has a lot to do with communication, what we call the superficial mind, short journeys, sometimes educational pursuits, and certainly communication and the way you deliver your ideas to people around you. And of course, you know you're an ideas person because of the sun sign that you're born under. So this really is a significant transit, one that only occurs once every 12 years through this particular zone of the zodiac. And what that indicates, of course, is that a stepping up, a ramping up of these energies in that sphere of your life. So for some of you, certainly educational pursuits are going to take on a new meaning. For those of you that are already studying, you may have felt some sort of challenge there. We see there we've got the right angle of Saturn that's been occurring for some time, slowing your mental acuity down. Mars has just entered there. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And you've still got the right angle now between this entry of Jupiter to these two planets. So although the challenge is there, I think the optimism and the desire to see through what you've commenced is very much what I would be predicting for you right now. That's further enhanced after the 12th, when we see Venus, very friendly planet to you, also moving into this vicinity. So what we have there is actually a stellium. A stellium is just a cluster of planets, which really gives a lot of weight to this area. You've got the Sun there right now with Jupiter, Mercury, and then we can add that Venus energy to the mix. So that really, really fortifies the communication and educational aspects. The other side of this, of course, is short journeys. Now, having all these planets in this third house also indicates the travel bug. But you know, from the 11th sector of your horoscope, Gemini, you've got this, what we call a right angle or you know, square aspect from that area relating to friendships. So I'd be saying to you that if you've got to travel, you're probably better to travel alone. Just do a bit of your own self-discovery, a bit of exploration on your own. It's quite likely the past karma that you have with friends right now is not conducive to your travels nor for your educational pursuits. In fact, you could feel quite stifled by some of the people that you've been hanging around. Now, I said that on the 12th, Venus would move into this area as well. That could be the timing when you're likely to do something very abrupt. So when we talk about journeys, exploring, even when we talk about social interactions, this is a time when something sudden, something unexpected can happen. Then again on the 16th, we see Mercury moving into your 4th sector. So let's just shift now from this whole idea of travels, intellectual understanding, studies, etc., to this other sector of your horoscope, which has to do with your domestic sphere. The 16th is important. That's your ruling planet. So we see that moving there, definitely giving focus to that area of your life. So I'll be saying if you have to travel, it's quite likely a lot of that stuff will happen in the first couple of weeks of the month. Then the shift occurs with your ruling planet moving to your domestic sphere. Again on the 23rd, we see the Sun moving into this area, so that's going to give even more weight to the domestic sphere. These two planets are very strong communications planets as well when they're together. So it's likely that the shift from communication with friends or that difficulty with friends shifts to the family affairs, someone in your family. The Sun, of course, is the paternal archetype, the masculine archetype, authority figures. So there could be something going on in that area in your life right now. When the Sun is in the lower part of the horoscope, the professional activities tend to be withdrawn. You may not have the real get up and go to do your professional work. You just don't have that energy. You've got the interest in learning, but work per se, maybe not so much. That takes us up to the new moon of the 26th. Now, that again is going to occur in the vicinity of your domestic sphere. And often when the new moon occurs, it means a whole lot of new happenings. So for some of you, this could mean purchasing a new property, maybe even a new car, because it's not just restricted to property. These are fixed assets, big ticket items that you may be looking at. You might want to buy a new car. And that coincides with a rather difficult and frustrating aspect of Mars moving into conjunction with Saturn in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 6th sector. Now, I mentioned to you that you're in a bit of a downward trend for your work. 6th sector is your work environment, so there's no doubt you're feeling some sort of frustration there. It's not a good time to be dealing with your co-workers. You might actually be quite antagonistic or find that antagonism coming back to you from some of the people that you work with. And here again, we mentioned square from your friendship sector, another square or 90-degree aspect to these two planets in the 6th house of workplace activity. Incidentally, Gemini, the 6th house, according to Hindu astrology, has to do with your enemies. These are open enemies. So it's likely if someone's been really, really irritating you, this is the time when a head-on confrontation can take place. But having said that, the new moon that I've just mentioned in the 4th sector shows that you're probably likely to look at things in a new perspective at this time. 4th house has to do with your peace of mind. So is all of this angst worth it? I think it's for you to balance that out. And I think you'll agree that the answer is very, very clear. That peace, conciliation, harmony, equilibrium, and a communications approach that is a win-win for everyone is the best possible approach. That's one other thing I didn't mention about that 3rd house where all these planets are congregating right now. This is the house of negotiation. It's the house of contracts, and therefore you have the best possible opportunity if what you have in your life right now is a whole lot of problem from your enemies, those people you work with. Now is the time to reconcile, bury the hatchet and move forward. Hope to see you here next month. Again, that's a brief synopsis. Astrology.com.au, my website, has a lot more information on this. Of course, the daily horoscopes can give you a day-by-day account of what's going on and how you can manage the things that I've just said a lot better. Take care now and see you here in about 4 weeks. Take care.